Hi, my name's Duane Kann, and I'm the ARF Regional Sales Manager for Rosenbauer. And I'm here today with Jason from Fire Department Coffee, as well as Ben Thornton, the Special Operations Chief and head of the ARF team at Dallas Love Field. And we're going to take a look at this Panther Electric that we're demoing throughout the U.S. this year and talk about how it compares to the first Panther Electric that's going to be delivered in the U.S. to Dallas Love Field under Chief Ben Thornton's supervision. Let's take a look at this truck, Jason.
Let's do it. All right.
So Jason, some of the cool features about this truck. So first of all, we are talking about a fully electric Panther.
Yeah.
Now, this also comes in a diesel model. A little bit about just some of the features that are really unique to the Panther Electric is when you're talking about a diesel aircraft rescue firefighting vehicle, the NFPA requires it to get from 0 to 50 miles per hour in less than 35 seconds. This truck right here in electric mode can do it in 25 seconds. And if we use the boost, we can actually get that number down to 20 seconds. This is 88,000 pounds this vehicle weighs, and you're getting it up to 50 miles an hour in less than 20 seconds. It's amazing.
No, this thing is absolutely massive. The fact that you could make this electric is mind-blowing. Your engineers are incredible. It's unbelievable.
So there's 4 electric motors tied to the central drive transmission that's going to power this vehicle. When we're talking about horsepower, when we're looking at a diesel 6x6 HRET like this truck, it's running 700 horsepower. Now, when you're looking at the Panther Electric, the equivalence of horsepower, this truck's coming in at 980 horsepower. And then when you hit that boost button, we're at 1,200 horsepower. That's a lot of horses carrying this Panther.
Yeah.
And then back here, we have our actual compartment that gets access back to all of the electrical, the batteries. One of the major battery components is located right over top of those double axles, and then the other one is offset over on the right-hand side back here. So we have 2 large batteries that are around 250 kilowatts. Total power. So what's also actually behind the scenes here that you're not able to see is a couple of different things. So we have an energy backup unit, which is a tier 4 generator that is not directed to the drivetrain at all. It actually charges the batteries. This is a fully electric vehicle. So what happens is when the battery starts to get between 25 and 15% capacity remaining, that energy backup unit is going to kick on and it's going to charge the batteries to then continue to allow power to the vehicle. So you don't ever have to worry about one of these vehicles ever running out of power. They're going to always have a sustained power for extended long operations.
No, that's beautiful because that's a huge pain point for a lot of people, whether or not it's going to run out of power. How long would that diesel generator be able to keep the batteries going?
Well, we actually have 80 gallons of diesel fuel on this truck, so until that fuel is out, it's going to run it the whole time. Yeah.
Long time.
But what is cool about that, though, is when you're talking about how long will it last, a few key things are, if this is fully charged, it's going to go about 50 miles before the energy backup unit will kick on.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about 50 to be empty, just 50 till that kicks on.
Yeah.
We're also able to pump for 50 minutes before that actually kicks on. So you can get a lot of operation on this truck fully electric before that energy backup unit even becomes a factor in play.
Absolutely.
You're able to charge this with 250 kilowatt chargers on the back of the vehicle, and you can charge this truck from completely empty to completely full in 45 minutes.
Holy crap.
So yeah, it's not as fast as 45 seconds, but it's still pretty fast. So
it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun, but it's time for me to step aside because they don't let me drive this vehicle, so I'm just going to get the heck out of the way. And I'm going to let these 2 guys get in the cab with Corbin and take you for a ride in this awesome piece of machinery.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm excited to be inside of this all-electric Panther. I'm so excited, but obviously its main function is dumping water, putting out fires, so let's see what the water capabilities of this truck is.
Racking.
So, Chief, obviously you're getting the first all-electric Panther in the United States, which is incredible. I actually appreciate the fact that you're willing to invest in incredible technology.
Right.
And I've rode in these before, and what I love is the fact that you and I can have a conversation right now.
Silence.
It's silence, a normal tone.
Right.
Which is good for size ups. We're rolling up on something. We can actually do a plan before we get there, was that a part of investing in this?
Actually, one of the aspects of it was the silence part was something we discovered when we got to experience the first prototype in Austria. And the intrinsic difference is you gain situational awareness not only in a scene, because when an ARF rig is actually pumping, it's easily double the sound of an engine pumping. And so if you're trying to IC something and I have 3 ARF rigs pumping in space, we lose situational awareness, the ability to communicate. We both know that a lot of failures inside of ops is in communication. So the electrification of this enhances that. And that definitely was a component. It was a discovery after we experienced it.
Which I love. And its capabilities, the water flow capabilities, are exactly the same as the diesel.
Absolutely. 100% the same. And, the aspect, as we already talked about, the acceleration aspect, ARF has a very narrow window of operations per training. You have 90 seconds to mitigate the massive radiant heat on the plane. At that point, you begin melting aluminum. So being able to respond exponentially faster than what we have, and you minimize sound. And as we're having this conversation right now, if we were in a normal diesel Panther, we would have to have headsets on to have a conversation, just the same as a fire apparatus. It's loud, and here we are just driving. And right now, we're accelerating, and you don't really hear anything.
No. And it's a very interesting thing being pushed back in your seat in a giant apparatus.
Right.
You and I have never experienced that.
No. You're like, whereas this is the biggest, electrified vehicle, to us.
And even the braking on these is better for the most part, which I think is incredible as well.
Right.
And was that the main piece that said to you, I need this, the acceleration, the performance, the auditory stuff, all of that?
Actually, when you look at it from an ARF perspective, and you take into account what our mission is, that we have to experience acceleration.
We're just going light speed right now.
Right, we're just right. And for the moment, for the audience, we don't even have the boost mode on, which is it's kind of the ludicrous mode. One of the aspects to it was that if you're going to electrify an apparatus in the fire service, and you start thinking about electrification, moving an 85,000-pound vehicle to max speed, because again, narrow window of operations, the faster we get to the fight, the faster we can save lives and manage the scene as we have it. So a large component inside of that is an ARF, with an electric motor, you have max torque at 0 RPMs. And so we're accelerating into that moment. And then you're gaining, again, the silence of situational awareness, and then just the capabilities of the modern Panther. We are a Rosenbauer fleet. We operate in what's a legacy Panther, I think it's Gen 2. And as we move into a modern fleet, there's so many enhancements to them. The situational awareness of the cab, just the fact we have visual awareness outdoors. We're not looking through the side of a steel door.
I think the other thing I loved was talking to you about this, and obviously you're a sections chief, you're very experienced in what you do, but you're not the type of person that has just risen through the ranks without gathering the experience, the knowledge that would make you truly understand why this is such a great vehicle. Because you said you've had four fires underneath you for airplanes, so on and so forth.
We have 4 crashes underneath, and I've been an ARF chief now for 4 years. We've had 4 aircraft incidents. One of them did involve, it was Wings Over Dallas disaster, and it was, a B-17 was hit by a P-63, and unfortunately it was a total fatality. But our rigs were able to rapidly respond and mitigate what we were dealing with in the situation. And that's an aspect inside of ARF. ARF was unique to me. It's something I didn't have a lot of knowledge of coming into it. Got my feet underneath me in time. Fortunately, I have an excellent captain, Captain Ron Tossai, kind of a titan in the ARF world. So there's been experience, there's definitely experience across it. The unfortunate thing in ARF, and it's also fortunate because we don't want to go to these events. There's very little experience, whereas in Dallas Fire, you gain experience through responding to structure fires, EMS calls. There's a very limited response to ARF events globally. And we appreciate that. It testifies to the safety culture of aviation. But they do happen. Right.
And like you said, the low frequency of that, you need the greatest equipment, the greatest training because of how low that frequency is. And the response, like you said, fuel's burning a lot faster than your average. You know, you have very confined spaces because of the planes. Hopefully people are getting out, and the faster you can get there, the faster you can mitigate those problems. And you obviously want to invest the best equipment for that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the aspects that where, while your career will slow down in a response as you move into the ARF division, your brain must accelerate because ARF largely lives in the mind, right? It's a lot of mental projection. And so for the space of our people, I state to our people, you know, taking this job, the responsibility, you do have a moral obligation to provide the best training and the best equipment possible. So when we started looking across equipment, as we have an aging fleet, and we evaluated several rigs, and when we got to this is the pinnacle of an ARF rig.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah, and I put hazmat and ARF in the same areas just because, like you said, of the low frequency, but when things happen, they're always bad.
They are.
Very bad.
They're very bad, and really, I mean, an ARF event actually wraps up everything a firefighter trains for. It's all in one.
Yeah. All right, Chief G, spec it out. You realize how cool it is. You know that all the features are exactly what you want. You know it can do everything that you need it to do.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, you gotta pull the trigger. So what made you pull the final trigger on this?
It started in Orlando, and when we were at the Orlando ARF Working Group Conference, it was a truck year to where we actually got exposed to trucks. We did evaluate, look through them, and I had a conversation with Philip Platzel from Rosenbauer, who was the lead of this project at the time. And there was an aspect to it that really caught my eye, was Rosenbauer was looking for innovation partners. And Dallas Fire Rescue, 5th largest fire department in America, I saw it as an opportunity to brand what we're doing in arguably an incredible piece of equipment. But that innovation partnership is to be part of something to where you're developing an aspect. We're actually going to work with them through a 6-month period, and it's to where we're tailoring the rig, not just in its performance. The performance will exist, but it's how all the systems interact with each other to optimize the operator experience, to where they are, at that moment, our rig is tailored at the 6-month point. It goes into a frontline status. Rosenbauer has harvested the data from it, and we're building a next product, the bigger product. I mean, one of my goals, I see the future that we would electrify the front fleet of our ARF response, which would be 3 electrics across the front. We actually fortunate that we were building a new fire station on surface, and we had it engineered for electrification. So all 6 bays are actually engineered for it. There'll be a supercharger out back that will load this thing up with power. It's kind of scary, but it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
But that partnership was really what sung to me, and we already had experience with Rosenbauer. For our operations that we operate 2 fire officers in the cab. For the operations inside of it, Rosenbauer was a better fit with us. And then it was just the aspect that when we thought about it and we were like, what's the future? And I believe in the ARF world, the future resides in this vehicle.
Yeah.
This is, to me, the pinnacle, and it is a benchmarking piece of equipment to where I feel like many people will be trying to play catch up with it. Dallas Love Field sets 31st currently.
Wow.
And we're on 19.6 million people through the terminal in a year. And we roughly have about 800 operations a day, so flight operations.
A lot of people to protect. They trust you, especially to invest in this, and I think that is cool. And I know you didn't do it with a light mind or light heart. You invested the time doing the research, making sure you were getting the best thing. And speaking of the best product, let's see what this baby can do.
Oh, yeah. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hit it. So as you see, y'all are listening, we're accelerating, and the only thing you're hearing is the scrubbing of those tires.
And me breathing. Yeah.
Notice you don't hear a diesel motor.
No, you just hear me peeing myself.
Right. Because he's driving.
Yeah.
Right. These rigs are phenomenal, what they're capable of doing.
Absolutely.
They can ford mud that's up to the top of the tires, basically, and just keep punching.
Yeah.
6-wheel drive, lock the differentials, and go. Maximized by the fact you have an electrical with max torque, i.e. this.
Yeah. Funny
As we
know, just as I've never been involved in ARF, that these all have to be all-terrain vehicles.
Yes.
Which is
Right.
makes sense when somebody says it, but yeah.
Right. They really are. They're phenomenally capable.
I don't think people can appreciate how hard we're turning right now.
No.
And this is
No.
just going.
We need like a G meter.
Yeah.
And one thing that's notable about this rig below 20 miles an hour possesses a rear wheel steering system.
Yeah.
Maneuverability inside of an ARF event is critically important. So that aspect of it gives us a tighter turning radius, and oftentimes what we're going to have to navigate is people.
Yes.
People are going to exit the plane.
Go
And
anywhere they can.
Right.
Yeah.
So max maneuverability.
I love that. This is an absolute beat. So I'm gonna get one of these from my house.
There'll be some on auction, some of our old ones. You can buy one if you would like to. I mean, right. Wait, I think if you have an HOA that may not like it parked out front, or they might ask you to paint it a different color.
Sure.
Right.
For some brakes.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, we just stopped in 25 feet.
Right.
30 feet.
Right.
That is insane.
It's like the biggest toy you dreamed of driving when you're a kid. Like when we bring kids to the ARF and they actually can see an ARF rig. It's like they want to see a fire engine. You're like, okay, now you want to see the biggest fire engine ever? Here you go. I mean, because the mass application of it, this thing could dump the tank in high flow. You could, if you ran everything, a minute, 30 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, and you 3,000 gallons of water gone. Each ARF operator, we seal into them that you are an individual incident commander because you must effect action without order.
Yes.
And so the individuals who are operators are making critical decisions in seconds.
Yeah.
Where the difference in an ARF event, whereas a structure fire will evolve and you have time with it, an ARF event will reach max potential immediately.
Yes.
And so that's the design of these. So speed and mass application is critically important in that mission.
Yes. Yeah, because you don't see, aircraft that are setting on fire. It's not typically a slow progress.
No, it's boom.
Graph. Yeah.
It's a bomb. It's a hazmat. It's a USAR. Our response brings all those elements in Dallas Fire to the table.
Yes.
I mean, if we do have one that occurs, all those specialty teams are coming.
Yes. Yes. Incredible.
And it's the individual operators, as you're the operator in the seat, you're roughly managing 50 operations that you have to do with split-second decisions. So one of the aspects in Dallas Fire we brought forward is called the RIO program, and the design of it is to distribute the load. There's nowhere in the fire service do you operate independent, solo, right? You don't do it.
No. I'm taking in what you're saying, but also at the same time, I'm
right.
holy crap.
Right. I think I've already been in it one time, so I'm kind of like... Right.
So we're clear. Any other vehicle would have just turned over.
Right.
The rate at which we're turning, accelerating, stopping. There's about 12 firefighters videoing.
Yeah, right.
See this.
The guys over at the bar are like, what is that? We're like, that's right. What is that?
What is that?
That's the beauty of these vehicles. Well, we don't get to drive them like this.
Yeah.
Because we would get in trouble.
Yeah.
Although as I retire, maybe I'll just take it out and do that, and I'll go out in a true burn, right?
That's so good.
Yeah, they're phenomenal pieces of. It's the machine as a kid you wanted to get in and experience something like what you just did.
Absolutely.
Puts a smile on your face.
This has been an incredible experience. Your knowledge is also obviously vast, and we appreciate you investing in something like this. This has been I hope you get a chance to ride in this. Chief, I appreciate you investing in not only the future, but also your department and then the people that you serve, because you obviously, they trust you, and there's a great reason why, because you are an incredible chief. Thank you so much for
Oh, no, man. Thank you. It's been awesome. It's been a great time for me, and it's awesome to let it be seen.
Absolutely.
Like, debut it in the public space.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
I want to thank everybody for taking the walk around with us today, checking out the new Panther electric ARF vehicle. I want to thank Chief Ben Thornton and the Dallas Fire Rescue team for taking that leap of faith with the Rosenbauer team and bringing that first one on board in the U.S. We're going to be rolling that out later in 2025, and I believe we're going to have an event at Dallas to really kick that off. We're looking forward to all of that as well. So, Jason, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it and enjoy being able to host this with you. So thanks for making the time for us, man.
Thank you.
So this truck you're seeing behind us right now is actually going to be doing a U.S. tour. It's going to be located at the AAAE annual conference in Atlanta, Georgia, June 8th through the 10th. And we're going to follow that up on the 11th at the Atlanta Fire Rescue Training Facility. So be looking for that. That's coming up real soon. And then we're also going to take this truck out west. We're going to be out in Reno. We're going to be in Salt Lake City. And then we're going to come back to the East Coast, end up the tour after the ARF Working Group annual conference, where we're going to take the truck to JFK International Airport. They have a fire training facility there, and we're actually going to do an event there late September. Those actual dates of those locations are going to be coming out soon, so keep your eye open for all of that.